And we are back, albeit a little bit on the late side, but we are here for another edition of the Astro Weather. And I am joined, as always, by Peachy, the super cat. That's right. We have the Astro Cat, and Peachy's the super cat. Which you are. There she is. No Haitian shall come near you. Teach them a lesson, won't we? All right, how is everybody? I apologize for the latitude, and I'm actually also a little bit behind on the box cast and the Rumble side of things, but I'll try to get through today's show as efficiently as possible. And Mike's a little weird. I don't know what to tell you. Turn up the mic volume and make sure I have the right mic setting. And there we go. There we go. Now you'll hear my dulcet tones. The baritone dulcet tones of the Astro Weather. It's going to be one hell of a day. And I hope you all have the fortitude to be able to stomach this absolute cosmic slop that we're being fed in this very day. Anyway, hopefully that's better. Michael's here. What's going on, DJ? Kelly B, Christina Jersey. Good morning. Maya Rose, Scrubbies, out walking the dog. And it is a beautiful morning. Green Eyed Crow is here. Warland checking in. Blues is me 78. Greetings, Blues is me. Atlantis Rising. Janice Phillips on her own today. I may make her back for Rumble. All right. Well, hopefully we'll have it all rigged up and ready to go. There she is, D. Tiffer. What's happening? Wendy Q is back with us. Soul Traveler, Joan W. Harry Bowie. Hey. Barbara Boots is here, and the commentary apparently is that the moderators were clearly on one side and not the other, which is obviously there is not a link to Boxcast, at least not right now. So if you're a Locals member, I'll have to put it up at Locals. Mia, what's happening? Good to see you. Veronica's Barneser, Carly, caretaking and listening. Okay, well, we'll take care of you while you're caretaking. Democracy hangover. Yeah, kind of feels that way. Liddy Lou, what's happening? There's my man Tom. Ryan's here. Mary Grether. Day after day, crazy Dave the Crazy, and it's going to get crazier. Hanging. Couldn't watch it last night. I had to force myself so I could. We could have group therapy while it was happening. Brandy from Sin City checking in. Hey, Brandy. Jay is here. Yes, please sign up for Locals, where you can get links and all kinds of interesting information. Mia's going to the bad breakup again. Mia moved to Texas and join the party, meet all you lovely people. Well, Mia, I hardly suggest that. Lisa Ann White, the law is in the house. Shirley Lociavo is here. Queen Lisa from Florida. Maria DeAnge. Katie Barton. We got a good lineup. Charlie Biloxi. Oh, I can't wait till my 49ers play the Bills this year. Might have to have a little wager with Mr. Charlie. Jackie, good morning. Thanks to Roger Maris. One of my uncles was a big Yankees fan. And I understand all the confusion around that season. It was terrible. Really, really bad. They treated him like garbage. Laurel Jubin. Hey, what's happening, Laurel? It rained this morning near flood level in Florida. Havana Blast. We got a lot of Floridians. Mr. Grandor, Rumble wants me to verify making my phone number. No, that's really weird. What the fuck happened with that? I've never seen that before, Mr. Gray no more. Let's see. Did I say Nicole DePaulo? Recuse myself from media hype that led up to 15 minutes in muted to observe body language. Trump, more subdued. Harris, nervous. Scared, superficial, superfluous. It's a good thumbnail, Harriet. Watch Rageaholic roasting the debate. Let's see. We got Laura E here. Yeah, we still have some spaces for Harvest Moon. If you want to cleanse your spirit, come on out here. Come on out to Texas. Have a good time. Have some interesting conversations. Have some interesting presentations. Chill out with people that are like-minded, like-spirited. Ms. Betaven 2 is here. Neil Smith. Neil's going to be with us. Yes, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Shout out to Siegert, who bought me a cup of digital brew yesterday. Thank you, Siegert. Let's see. Sandra Wells, what's up, cuz? The spin on the debates. We were spinning last night. When the military is mentioned and Trump left them with a strong one, where was Trump reminding everyone Biden turned it woke? Well, yeah, he talked about that. Hey, it's Sweet Woodruff. All right, you know what that means. You get the birthday song. Lives Outdoors is here. Let's see. Who else do we have? Integrity and Karma. Integrity and Karma. Integrity and Karma. Dave Sullivan. Big Dave Sullivan. There she is, the lovely and talented one. Saving Austin one tooth at a time. The legendary Warlanda is with us. Don't forget her cup of coffee with Scream. Sunny 95532. Hi, Sunny. Howdy, Sonny. Good idea. 49ers or Eagles in Super Bowl, New Orleans. That'd be good. 49ers look strong on Monday night. Maceo Gabbard. What's up, Maceo? Moira next door. What a drag. It was a drag. Oh, my God. Nora Rashid, the queen of speed. Living life with the pedal to the metal. And my man Steve Thor at the door is here. Right, let's find Sweet Woodruff. Let us find Sweet Woodruff. A birthday tune. A birthday tune for Sweet Woodruff is in the making. Here we go. Let's see what we got. It's always interesting to try to find a new and different one. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to get specific. Here we go. All right, Sweet Woodruff. You're going to get the country western style. Since you're from the old country and western part of the world, I have absolutely not screened this at all. But let's see what we got here. Let's see this. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to give you a classy country western birthday style, courtesy of none other than Miss Dolly Parton. There you go. Your little Dolly Parton happy birthday song. Here you go.
The days go by faster and faster. The calendar turns another year past you. It's a special day for you to shine. Friends all around with cheers and wishes. Candles on a cake that's just delicious. It's all for you today, 'cause it's birthday time. That's right, Dolly. This one's for you. 'Cause it's birthday time. What a day for celebrating. There'll be songs and gifts and some happy congregating. This is birthday time with your friends and your relations. It's a time for joy and happy celebrations. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
All right. That's a winner. That is a winner. Tom keeps texting me. What does Tom keep texting me about? Let's see. Yep, posted that last night on Telegram and Twitter. Oh, he's talking about the earring thing. Tom's in a different. He may be in the couch, but he's in a different time zones show wise. Let's see. Love Dolly, Stephen the Jupiterian. Hello, Dolly. Yes. Hello, Dolly. Lives outdoors. Yes, love it. There you go, sweet Woodruffs. That's the way to start your year, little Dolly Parton. Let's see. I think we're up to speed. What about your wager analysis via astrology podcast? I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure it's well-meaning on your part. All right, let's get into the weather. It's all about the weather. The weather. By the way, today is September 11th. And Friday, not today, but Friday, which will be, if I'm not mistaken, is it the 13th? Let's see, let me check my calendar. Oh, yeah, Friday the 13th. We're going to have a September 11th show on Friday the 13th with Alex Fulton, also known as Crypto K, my buddy Crypto K from Crypto K Land. And he's got a bunch of stuff on 9/11 that he's put together and has been wanting to do a presentation on. Now, I had asked him to be on 15 Minutes of Flame today, but it's a little early for his taste because he's on the West Coast. So getting up at 7 a.m. to do a presentation is a little beyond the pale. So Friday, we'll have the official 9/11 show on the Friday forecast. That'll be a good one. He always has the interesting maths. Okay, let me just load this up here. All right, let's get into the weather. The weather. Wow. Look at that. You know what that looks like? It looks like a storm. That looks like a storm. And it feels like yesterday was the initiation to the gateway of the storm. The debate was the beginning. And we are going to hear endless analysis and endless speculation. The presses are rolling, and the media will not stop wagging its tongue long after this is done. It's only just starting. How'd you like to have this chart as your chart? Let's say you were born at 8 a.m. and somebody was born 8 a.m. today somewhere in the United States, and they have this chart, or somewhere else, or they have this chart. I would not want this chart. This is not a chart that I'd want to live with. It would be fraught with challenges, and the the challenge of overcoming the adversity of the challenge of the chart. So where do we begin? Should we jump into the mutable maelstrom, the sun moon square, the moon Neptune square, the Neptune Jupiter square, the moon opposite Jupiter? Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And sun is also squaring Saturn. So it's not quite at the midpoint. We won't reach that midpoint until about 20 degrees. And the sun is trying to define itself. So we're trying to define order. Virgo is all about the definition of order. Now we're in second decan Virgo. And second decan Virgo puts it squarely into the Capricornian decan. So there's Virgo efficiency, and then there's Virgo efficiency on steroids. So if you're born between 10 and 20 degrees Virgo, you have the most authoritarian version of the sign, and probably one of the better. I think of all the decans of Virgo, the second decan of Virgo might be the best. And I'm a Virgo, and it's not even my decan. So now what we're trying to do here, right, is we're trying to establish authority. So these 10 degrees of Virgo, I'll give you an example. It's one of your friends who, maybe it's you. It's somebody who has a lot of information about health and well-being. And when they share it, they come across as being somebody who is not just well-informed, but an authority, right? So we're in the authoritarian phase of the Virgo decan. And this would be the decan basically from 20. So hold on a second. No, I'm sorry. I have to correct myself. We missed that. That would be 10 to 19. No, we're in the Tauran decan. So I apologize for that. It's early. I could give you a rant about the second decan, but we'll save that for next year. So we're in the Tauran decan with Virgo, which is a bit more fixed and not always as motivated, right? It is defined by Taurus and not Capricorn. We missed that. See, Capricorn. Defined by Taurus, which is more fixed, but also not always as motivated. Sort of like Virgo wanting to kick up its heels. But because it does have the fixed element, it does make this Grand Cross a little trickier. Now, the square with the moon in Sagittarius, again, even though we're dealing with mutable elements, this degree of Virgo tends to be a bit more fixed. And I think people's emotions, see, the moon in Sagittarius is very philosophical, and it can be very ideological. It can be at times a little idealistic, and also times a little bit of self-righteousness. And so self-righteousness abounds with the sun moon square. This is a tricky time to be involved in public debate. Let's put it that way. Because everybody is going to be convinced of their own self-righteousness and their own certitude. So in the aftermath of the debate, nobody's going to agree on anything unless you're on one side or the other. Does that surprise anybody? But you're going to get even more of that today. I think that this is a very dramatic day, just in terms of emotional expression and people being like, instead of settling anything, that debate wound people up. I can tell you that right now. It's wound people up more. And this is one of those days where the energy just went. This is like a storm. This chart is like a storm that's just waiting to explode. And it's an interesting chart to have on the anniversary of 9/11. I'd say it's an explosive chart. right? And then we have Mercury coming in and squaring Uranus and basically lighting the fuse and throwing the firecracker in the middle of the room. I don't know how much self-control can be uh, expressed today. Today's not a great day for self-control. And I'm not saying go out and, lose your mind, but you may want to take a look at other people losing their minds, because I feel like that's really on the table. In terms of just the general forecast, I think so much is at stake today. It was at stake last night, during the debate. Harris lied consistently, was never called out on it. Trump had a few things that were questioned and fact checked, and of course they already knew that what his answer was going to be, and they had the fact check ready to go. So today is one of those days where, if you don't want to get into an argument with your liberal friends, you may want to just avoid them. You may just want to avoid it. Jupiter squares Saturn and it squares Neptune, and it squares this. Jupiter's got this what the fuck energy, like what the fuck, what the fuck. I don't have anything to lose. What the fuck? What does it matter? I mean, that's where Jupiter is. Jupiter is in the third decan, so it's in the Aquarian decan, which is more rebellious than the other two decans of Gemini. So we get a double whammy here with the squares and the oppositions and the rebellious, revolutionary, and somewhat fixed energy of the third decan. Now, if for whatever reason you have to defend your case today, Mercury-Mars sextile is actually a good one. And it blends the urgency of the emotions, which is Mars in Cancer, with the rational and clear perspective of Mercury in Virgo. So if for whatever reason you have to get drawn into something, or you have to present your case, whether it's work-wise or it is a family situation, keep your cool, keep your wits about you, and articulate why a certain decision is the best for everyone, and to think it through, to really think it through. And this is the key, because you want to be somewhat inclusive when you present your case. It's not just the galactic we or the universal I. You want to be able to break it down so other people who are involved in the decision-making process nod their heads in agreement. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I can see that. You're right. That's the key here. So Venus is in Libra, thank God. And that gives us a little bit more balance. Theoretically, it's moving into a trine with Jupiter. So we can have the luxury of being fair. We have the luxury of being fair. I'll give you another option for today. Imagine yourself as the world below you is losing its mind and there's bickering and squabbling. Imagine yourself as being above the fray with that Venus-Jupiter trine. And you can beneficently and benevolently either forgive, accept, however you want to interact with any situation. If you are above the fray and can literally see this squabble happen. And if you have to play the role of the arbitrator or the mediator, or if somebody asks you what you think, give them the highest perspective you can and say, well, I can see both sides of the situation in this. And in my estimation, the fairest resolution would be put in the blank, right? Because I do think that this Venus trine Jupiter is one of those aspects that is quite good in terms of just staying out of the fray. There's a lot of fray. Today's a lot of fray. But if you're going to get into it, roll up your sleeves. Mercury, Uranus square, hit them right between the eyes. Hit them right in the third eye. Make a point, make a case, make it shocking. Pallas has moved into Sagittarius. Let's just talk about that a little bit. So Sagittarius, of course, is all about truth, justice, freedom, expansion. It's philosophical, it's religious, it's the big picture. And I think Pallas's entrance into Sagittarius, as we look at pattern recognition, is pretty significant. So it's at 0 degrees on 9/11, the anniversary of 9/11. And I think Longo has a 9/11 show over on Old World, Florida. And he's going to get into some of the things that are, one of the anomalies. Like, if I'm not mistaken, George Bush was at a school in Florida on 9/11 where they broke the news. And of course, Mohammed Atta and his band of merry airline pirates supposedly trained there. And they use the word supposedly. This could be a very interesting day in terms of 9/11 information and the pattern recognition that's around that and the truth. I tell you what's really fascinating. This is just a bit of a side angle, which I'll probably cover on the next show. Dick Cheney has resurfaced. The snake has crawled out from under the rock and is supporting Kamala Harris. Now, I don't know in any known part of this universe or the any version of it in the multiverse where Dick Cheney comes out as a good guy and a respectable endorsement of a candidate. Dick Cheney is the biggest human piece of shit that, there's big human pieces of shit, but in recent memory, right, this guy was one of the architects of 9/11, along with a number of other people, but he's squarely running the show while George Bush is cowering under some part of the White House and some command control center. And not only that, but Dick Cheney plays a prominent role in the story of Kathy O'Brien. And he's not a good guy. Not even close to being a good guy. I could go on and on about Dick Cheney. If people think that we have amnesia, that just because Dick Cheney wears a fucking cowboy hat and lives in Wyoming and is registered as a Republican, that's some sort of, ringing endorsement for Kamala Harris. If anything, that should be the kiss of fucking death. So let's go. Let's go, Pallas. Let's go, Pallas and Sagittarius. Pull out the looking glass. Let's get into the pattern recognition around truth. And let's turn up the volume on that a little bit. Let's see where that goes. We still have not even entered the Sun-Neptune opposition. We'll have more about that I expect a lot of water hitting landfall with that sudden Neptune opposition. All right. Star of the daytime. And you know what that means? That means we get our banner up here. It's the True Hemp Science Star of the Day. Brought to you by True Hemp Science. And what is True Hemp Science? True Hemp Science is your one-stop shop for all things CBD, organically sourced, intelligently crafted, and aesthetically created. I love Chris's labels. This is a bottle of Synapta, the G22, and it just looks great, doesn't it? It looks great. It's kind of Tartarian. That's what it reminds me of. It's very like these are old school elixirs from your great grandmother's the medicine cabinet from Tartaria. And if you type in 15MINS and spend $100 or more, you get some of the goodies in the goodie bag, including these Starlight gummies, which you will absolutely love, and whatever else Chris throws in there. $150 or more, get you free shipping. There's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's 15MINS. Stick that code in there. Complete the circle of life. All right, today's star of the day is Brian DePalma. There are a few other choices, but the reason why I chose Brian DePalma, by the way, all you Jersey folks, you can celebrate one of your Jersey-born sons, and from Newark, nonetheless. Brian DePalma has a classic splay chart. You know, we talk about the different types of charts, the Jones charts, and the splay chart is one of the most uncommon. And sometimes you get a splay chart, and it might have a few anomalies in there, but this is a classic splay chart. And what makes it a classic splay chart? Well, we have a grand trine. You'll see that. You'll have one planet here. You'll have a group of planets here, a group of planets here. And in DePalma's case, at the base of the chart, we have all these planets down here creating a very clean kite chart. Brian DePalma does not have any squares in his chart. None whatsoever. Now, there's some interesting qualities to a chart like this. People that have splay charts generally tend to have easy lives. So whatever they set out to do, as long as they can follow through with the intention of what they set out to do, their charts will operate very efficiently. There's very little drag on the system. You know, if you want to play the past life game, you could say that Brian DePalma had done enough in a prior life to warrant the gift of the splay chart. Because this chart is easy. The challenge with the splay chart is twofold. One is when the individual does encounter some adversity, they're not always used to it. So adversity can really throw them for a loop. The other is that they can get lazy and everything just comes very naturally to them, or the thing that they focus on comes naturally to them. And so when they do, so sometimes they just sit on their own gifts, right? But with DePalma, that's really not the case because number one, he's got the sun in Virgo. Number two, he's got Mars in Virgo. So he's going to work. You know, this is not a guy that's going to rest on his laurels. And what do we have here? We've got Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, all in the second house. We got some retrograde action, but they're all in there trining his sun and and Mars. So yeah, he's going to work. Yeah, he's going to get paid. And with the Uranus coming in and trining his sun, he's going to be. This is interesting, right? So when you have a Sun Uranus trine, you can be innovative without necessarily being rebellious. And DePalma has that quality about him. His movies, especially on the horror side, are fairly innovative. Like Carrie is an innovative film. It's a Stephen King novel, but his adaptation of it is, yes, it sets him on. His first movie is actually called Phantom of the Paradise, which is being rediscovered by people. And so that's his first film. And he uses certain effects and he does certain things in that movie. DePalma is a byproduct of the USC Film School. So he's got some of the best technology at his disposal because he's in the area. He's not somebody like John Sayles, who's a good filmmaker, right? But he's independent and he's an outsider. So he doesn't always have, like when you watch Battle Beyond the Stars, which is Sayles' science fiction film, it's good, but it's also very kind of low tech. DePalma never has to deal with low tech. His first movie looks like $1 million. It's highly stylized. He's a Pisces rising. And I think the Pisces rising element for a filmmaker could be an absolute gold mine because you're interacting with the world through that Piscean lens. And Pisces rules movies. We talked about this on Sunday night with the 12th house in the movie theater. And even the celluloid, which is how films were, movie stock is created, celluloid, it comes from a petroleum-based process, which is all Piscean. And I also feel like with Pisces on the ascendant, he can really blend with his subject matter or the cast and the crew, right? So I think for a filmmaker, Pisces rising can be quite good. Now he's got the moon over here in Capricorn, the 11th house, and to me that's the film crew. You got to have a film crew to pull off a movie. His mother's incredibly important. His mother's probably his best friend, and probably I don't have a big long biographical dissertation about Brian DePalma, but I guarantee you his mother played a pretty significant role. Now, she may not always agreed with his content choices because on the other side, we have the Venus-Pluto conjunction opposite the moon. So he'll have relationships that Mama DePalma may not approve of. But look how creative that fifth house is. He's got the part of fortune. He's got, what's interesting is that movie Carrie is really like Chiron and Carrie, Chiron and Cancer, because the theme of Carrie is like it's like menstruation and coming of age. It's like a coming of age movie with a horror background, where this girl has this ungodly power, and it's all there's that scene in Carrie where she's menstruating for the first time in the shower in the high school, right? It's so Chiron. It's so Chiron and Cancer. It's like this like shaming, embarrassing moment. And it's in DePalma's chart. It's one of those key signature scenes in a movie that sets up the rest of the movie and the bloodbath that ensues at the prom. Right? So he's very creative, and you can see that creativity. He's got that Pluto in Leo, Venus conjunct Pluto in Leo, and then we've got all that sextile action going on there with Mercury. So he's got a pretty tremendous chart. He gets paid for his movies. He gets financing. He gets money. And it's a pretty. I think it's a pretty effortless affair. The other thing about DePalma is he recycles some of his cast members, and they'll follow him from movie to movie. And who is in there? Is it Candy Clark? He's a master in some ways of modern horror and suspense. He's kind of like the modern Hitchcock, and but he can go in almost any direction with any genre. I mean, he does Scarface and creates one of the greatest gangster movies of all time, the recreation of the original Scarface. I think what's also fascinating about DePalma, and again, this is all about how he collaborates, is that seventh house. And the people that write the scripts or co-write the scripts and are in that place of collaboration with him in that seventh house. It's very important. So he's somebody who cannot do it alone, nor would he want to do it alone in terms of how he works. And he has he's got an incredible commercial output. And he's got a few clunkers along the way. But honestly, there's a period where Brian De Palma is probably one of the most underrated directors in Hollywood because of not just his output, and he was very productive. He did a lot of films when he was in his prime. He was doing a lot of movies, and they were all very high quality, all really well shot. And he really took on the sort of the mantle of the Hitchcockian suspense model. But again, he could go in other directions if he needed to or wanted to. Very interesting direct. I think De Palma and John Carpenter, they're not quite interchangeable, but they're almost twin sons of a different mother. And I think John Carpenter is also isn't John Carpenter from New Jersey as well? I think he's from the East Coast, but they're very similar in some ways. And Carpenter's a Capricorn. So there you go. The great Brian De Palma, who could pretty much make anything happen that he wanted to cinematically, and he's got the chart to back it up. So there's your True Hemp Science star of the day. All right, I'm going to get out of here because I got some work to do. And I got to set up the new show or the next show. So thank you for being here. Mods, thank you for doing what you do. Chataria, have a great day. In spite of this cyclonic energy that's brewing. Today's a cyclonic day. It's brewing. You can be the center of the storm, be the eye of the storm. God bless. Treat each other well. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to step what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. And I'll put some links up over on Locals and over on Twitter to come find us on Boxcast and Rumble. Take good care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.